Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another reading. My apologies. I think I mentioned in a previous video that with Pluto moving back direct, and I can't say this for sure, but with Pluto moving back direct and out of retrograde, my 12th house was activated. And I think I also explained that the 12th house is about like dreams, and it's just like underworld, like all of that kind of like death energy and transformation. And so at the same time that Pluto was going direct, now we're moving into the full moon in Aries, and Aries is where my Mars and Venus are. So a lot of energy going on, and a lot of like spiritual work that I was doing for myself. So my apologies if I am late. Well, I am late, but we still have the energy of the full moon in Aries that we can still work with. So I am going to bank our reading on that. Okay, so what I have here, I have may not look like recognizable because I finally took the label off, but I'm lit the root chakra candle that I have. The root chakra is connected to our very essence, our very energy, and that's the energy of Aries. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. And so, when we work with, this really is a transformative energy. This really is a time during this full moon to really kind of look at, one, where is Aries in our chart? And two, really dive deep into understanding the energy of Aries. I just feel like there's just this very much time to like go for it, like go for our wants and our manifestations and our dreams and whatever that we've been working with since the new moon. I think even Aries season, or the new moon in Aries. I think there was a new moon in Aries earlier this year. Yeah. Or last year. I'm still learning astrology, y'all, so I'm gonna dial back. So, okay, rewind, let's get into it. I wanna go ahead and clear my altar here, clear my space. And of course, it's very fitting. I have fire represented here in my space, just to kind of really hone in on the fact that, Aries is a fire sign. Aries is very, very impulsive, very fiery, right? So there we go. All right. Okay, so first off, of course, we have the full moon, surrender to the divine. And in regards to the full moon in Aries, we have a fiery climax approaches. So let's go ahead and read. I'll read about the full moon in Aries. Okay, full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. It's time to see if you've been a little bit too much me. There's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants, but you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. If you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone a little too fast, or overstepped the mark, then accept that on some level you've created the situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. And it's so funny because last week's reading was finding a way out of no way, right? When this card comes up, a peak is coming and it could be fiery. Attune to the moon. Be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. Additional meanings for this card. Being assertive is good. Just don't ride roughshod over anyone. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. Don't be a baby. Sorry, but this could be the issue. You need to have more fun. The teaching. The full moon in Aries is a super fairy time when emotions can run very high. On the upside, there's excitement about what may lie ahead, but tempers are likely to flare with rash comments or decisions. No matter when you pull this card, it signals that the situation has just or is about to come to a peak, perhaps in a rather heated way. There could be a price to pay, if you have been too competitive or too blunt. All right. So I will say what doesn't really sit right in my spirit, and I'll say this knowingly as someone who has Mars in Aries, and of course Mars. So my chart is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And, I have my Mars in Aries. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I want to make sure that you all are aware of my views on this. When my Mars is activated and the patience of my Taurus have run out, that's when my Mars kind of kicks in a little bit. If my patience has run out, when a bull sees red, and what's driving the bull seeing red at that point, it turns into, it's being fueled by Mars and Aries, war, fighting, right? So I don't like the idea of someone saying, oh, just smile and be kind and be nice. But if you have been smiling and you have been kind and you have been nice, there is something here that just does not sit right with me to be telling you all to, just grin and bear it just a little more. Like, take some more. No, I don't want to say that to people. I feel like, y'all, I just feel like it's just not trauma informed, really, and it's not really good to say. So here's what I'll say, because it even says surrender to the divine for the full moon. If you are working in your energy of the full moon, and you know within your soul, within your spirit, that you have done all that you can, right? You have been kind and you have been nice, and even here's the other thing too. If you have ways of supporting yourself through these, supporting yourself and nurturing yourself, because that's the other side of it too, is if you know that you nurture yourself and you care for yourself, and you absolutely have like your own support network that refreshes you so that you can be nice and be kind and everything like that. If someone comes at you with some BS and you've reached your capacity, I'm not advocating that you do anything stupid. And again, I'm going to caveat this video with saying this advice does not override any medical or legal issues or advice. Stand up for yourself. Make your boundaries known. Put up a wall, or emotional wall, physical wall, like put some distance between you and that source of toxicity. You don't have to put up with that. You don't have to put up with that at all. Like, you can say F off, right? You can say, get the F away from me. Like, don't ever, basically make it known that you have a boundary. And if the boundary is crossed, there are consequences, right? And the consequence could just be you never, I don't know, it doesn't have to be extreme, but definitely whatever keeps you safe, whatever keeps your supportive network around you, whatever keeps, keeps people in your life that actually care for you and care about your safety and well-being. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Because it just didn't sit well to be like, oh, just smile and be kind and be nice. Sometimes you have to say, fuck off. That's just it. Okay? All right. That I'll get off of that, and we'll put this book away and we'll get into the tarot. Actually, I want to pull out my Grandma Baby Lenormand cards again, because I feel like I've been really connecting with these. And also, side note, I have been learning also to read plain cards, so I'm just kind of jumping into that too. So I'm really like, ooh, this is so cool. Okay, all right, Spirit. Wow, already. Anchor. Okay, we've got Anchor. We've got the King of Spades and the Whip. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Tower. Wow. Something's crashing down. Makes sense. Something's crashing down. Let's take a look at Anchor. We've got Anchor. We've got the King of Pentacles. Oh, Lily. Oh. This is the Lily card. And the Whip. Okay. Something's crashing down is the overall of what's happening in this full moon in Aries. Something I think there is some sort of a warning here. And it's a warning of okay, all right. So we've got Anchor. It's a little bit of a warning, but also a bit of a story, because here we have three men standing around. I feel like they might actually be, you know, this looks like they're definitely prisoners. I feel like they're doing railroad work, and installing railroad ties or something, or they're just like pounding up stones or something like that. The card says, from Negro Road Gang, Jefferson County, Alabama. This photo was taken in February 1937 by Arthur Rothstein and retrieved from the Library of Congress. There's a message here, and the message is the work that you're doing, right? And when I say work, I mean like the spiritual work that you're doing, the emotional work that you're doing, maybe even into the physical work that you're doing. Is it anchoring you to something that you are going to be chained to for a really long time? Like the work that you're doing. So when I say work that you're doing, is it something that you can free yourself from later? And I talk about that, and when I say that there's a slight warning in that, it really is, okay, let's talk about, you know, all these things that you're working on in those ways, spiritually, physically, emotionally. When you tie yourself to that thing, is that thing something, like you have to really think about, is this something that you want to tie yourself to energetically, emotionally, and spiritually when you do that kind of work? So I think this is even a deeper look at this full moon in Aries and that fiery climax. And I'm so glad that Spirit answered my discomfort in saying, oh, just be kind, right? Or just be nice and smile. Because sometimes, you know, that's just bull, right? That's just bull. And so here the anchor is saying, do you want to be tied to this energy, right? And I think this is like bridging the gap between the be kind and my discomfort at hearing someone say, just be nice. Because I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Because I'm nice, right? As a person, if I know that I'm nice and I've done all that I can to be as kind as possible and show up as kindly as possible, and I'm still getting the same BS nonsense, I'm not going to be nice anymore. Like, that, apparently it's just wasted because it's just getting me the same result, right? And so here, what is the tie? What is tying you in this act? What is anchoring you to this? Because when I see anchor and I see these men in their prison uniforms, right? And they're in their prison uniforms, it's just, you're identifying what you're tied to. You're identifying with something so closely that it keeps you chained to it. It keeps you chained to it. So let's go to this lily card, because for me, the lily is, okay, I'll tell you a story to get you to understand like why I connect with the lily in this way and why I'm sure, it's okay. The lily, first of all, the lily represents death, because the lily is a flower that, when someone passes, or you go to a funeral, or you go to some sort of event where someone has transitioned to another life, right? The lily represents the peace of death, I think. And it also represents new life at the same time. And the King of Spades here, I believe spades in the playing cards represents swords. So this is the King of Swords. This is someone who is cutting away in order to release, right? There is a release from something that you probably have anchored yourself to spiritually, emotionally, or physically. There's a release here, and the King of Swords is bringing it, this death, this transformation. There's a cutting off here. And it's very powerful. I'll talk about so the story that I wanted to tell is one of my roommates, he had a parent that passed away, and to let him know that he was supported, and we understood that he was grieving, I went out on behalf of my other roommate and I and bought a lily plant, a lily flower, and it was at this shop that wasn't too far from where I worked, and took it back and I gave it to him and just wrote on a card hey, we're sorry for your loss, we're sorry, and we understand, and all that stuff. So that plant, with a little bit of sun and a little bit of water every now and then, just kept living. Honestly, it's the longest I've seen a plant survive. And I do try so much at growing things, and we all just kind of marveled every time. I think after about 6 months, we were like, wait a minute, this thing is still going. This thing is still alive. This thing is still doing its thing, And so, we all just kind of were marveling at it. And then even a year later, we were like, oh my gosh, this thing is still going. It's still, we're managing to keep it alive, right? So for me also, there's that promise of the lily not just representing transformation and from, via via death into new life, but the promise is that life will continue. That promise never ends. That process is never unreliable, right? That process is never unreliable. The death process, right? And so finally we have the whip. It's a bolt of lightning going across a dark background. And it's from, Untitled, Electrical Storms at Night, Silhouette of Houses. So interesting. I don't even see the houses here. But this was taken in 1923. It's funny, I don't even see the silhouette of houses. And really quick, so I'm representing this properly and across the board. This lily and this King of Pentacles here is from the 10-cent store on 47th Street. Customers are mostly Negroes. Chicago, Illinois, April 1941, by Russell Lee, retrieved from the Library of Congress. Yeah. The lily. The cutting off. And I just sense in this card too that there's the need to step into this, you know what? Done. Cut off, done, finished, right? And with that comes there's a mix of energy in this whip card, in this lightning bolt card. Okay, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking about how we've got the Tower card at the bottom here, we've got the whip. This, whatever this is, when it's completely ended and done, brings in the lightning bolt that you see in the also famous Rider-Waite, the one that strikes the tower and brings it down. I sense that cutting things off is that electrical bolt, is that energy that just completely tears everything down, right? Completely tears down a tower that was built on, maybe false foundations, false beginnings, loose foundations that were never made to support this tower, right? This is the actual really honing in on the lightning bolt that's in the Tower card. And you know what? I'll go ahead and pull it out because I want you all to see this. I want you all to also relate to this energy the way that I'm relating to it. Okay, so here's the Rider-Waite Tower card. Here we have the Tower, but there's no lightning bolt. Here we have the lightning bolt in the whip. Someone or something in your life that you have tried to be kind about, that you have tried to make peace with, that you have tried to, do everything you could to keep things right side up. You are now the bolt that tears it all down. You are now bringing the lightning. You are now bringing the closure, the whip. This Aries, whatever this full moon in Aries is doing, it's bringing a closure to something that you no longer have. You understand you no longer have to deal with. And this is the result, right? The lightning bolt here in this Tower card is taking the crown off of this, removing this crown, removing this energy, taking all the devotees out, tearing it down, striking the tower, setting it on fire, making it, nothing but rubble, right? And that's what's happening. There's lightning bolt energy coming here. And when I say whip, this whip is the energy of basically this is the energy of this can no longer stand. And it's you saying this or being this or embodying this. This can no longer stand, right? All right, let's get into the tarot, and I'll use I'll go ahead and use the Rider-Waite. No. Something is calling me to use the Honest Truth. This is the Honest Truth Tarot. I can't remember the creator's name, but I believe it's linked in the description of the video. So it's not linked, but it is named. So if you find it, go to makeplayingcards.com. Look for the Honest. I think it's called the Honest Truth. But I also believe that's the energy of what's happening here is the honest truth. This is the honest truth that's happening. All right, Spirit, can you give us some clarification on this message and the full moon in Aries? The full moon in Aries, please, Spirit. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Oof. Okay. Got the Seven of Pentacles that came out upright and with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I'm going to read that together. And let's get one more card, please, Spirit. Spirit gave me 2 more cards. Wow. All right. Yep. This is a new journey. Let me make sure you can see these cards. Yes. Good. Perfect. All right. So we've got the Fool that came out on the bottom. Ace of Pentacles came out in reverse. Seven of Pentacles came out upright with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Then we've got the 10 of Cups in reverse and the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So let me take a look here really quickly. There's 2 things going on here. There's not only a removal, like an uprooting, and this is just what I'm sensing just before I go into it. There's an uprooting here. And there's not only an uprooting, but there's I don't want to call it a defacing, but there's definitely a change on the outside as well. Like there is some sort of like visible outward change. Interesting. So there's an uprooting, there's a leaving from the space where you are. And not only that, but how you look even changes when you decide to really get into this energy of cutting things off that are no longer, cutting things off that are anchoring you to something that you no longer want to be tied to, right? So this Ace of Pentacles in reverse. You no longer want to be tied to foundations, to, and I'm using the Honest Truth understandings with this deck. So you no longer want to be tied to a prosperity that has you being a certain way, or maybe even you've identified that your spirituality has changed, your emotions have changed, your physicality, you want your physicality to change. And so you're uprooting yourself physically as well. You no longer want to be tied to something that isn't bringing you a return, right? That isn't bringing you prosperity, or that isn't putting down a foundation for you that you feel comfortable with. Not even comfortable with, but that really, because even that sounds like settling, right? Feeling comfortable with something. No, that's fucking settling. Excuse my language. You want something that is definitely on your side, like 2000% on your side. Because it's not hard, right? To be 2000% on someone's side who makes it so easy to be on their side, right? Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Then we got the Seven of Pentacles. This is going to require you to take a look at, you know, the hard things that you've done and the hard things that you'll have to do to separate and move forward. Because here with the Seven of Pentacles, yes, it's got Saturn here. This is connected to Saturn. Saturn is a planet that says, this is going to be hard work. This is going to be something hard for you. This is going to be something that requires investment, that requires, you know, you take a long-term look. And not only that, you're looking for results here. You're not looking to just put in work and then maybe and hope and you know, oh, maybe one day. Maybe one day. No, not maybe one day. Because here is it's kind of like either for you or the other person or whatever this is, that, you know, your luck has run out. That's what I'm hearing from this Wheel of Fortune card. Your luck has run out, right? There's no longer anything protecting you. And if you continue forward with whatever this is, that you are just like, you know, I'm going to grin and bear it. I'm going to be really nice to this person that's not giving me shit, right? Excuse my language. Your luck has run out. Or the luck of whoever that person or situation is run out. It's run out, right? It's run out. For both of you, honestly, actually. And when I say both of you, it could be you in a group, could be you and whatever, you in a situation, but it's run out. Now comes the hard work, right? Everything was made so easy. Now comes the hard work of actually separating or detaching or understanding, you know, this is not where I want to be, this is not what I want to do, et cetera, right? Okay. And then we have the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Mars. Ten of Cups is connected to Mars. You know what? The image that I'm getting with these two cards is, you know that there's a term called flipping the tables, and I'll just say this because I'm not quite sure everybody knows what it means, but there's this term called flipping the tables, like, and it means that you will turn over everything in your life in order to, you know, basically show your frustration, show your willingness to, you know, basically, okay. You will overturn a table impulsively. And whether or not that impulse is good or bad, it doesn't really matter. You're following your instinct, I think. You're following your intuition and your instinct, whichever one is more accessible to you and powerful for you. Like whatever one is true to who you are. Because intuition, a lot of people get their intuition from their crown. A lot of people get their intuition from their emotions. A lot of people get their intuition from their sacral center, right? This is the energy of flipping the table. Like you will sacrifice your joy, your peace, you will sacrifice the uprooting of all of this, like the emotional upheaval, right? Flipping the table in order to see, okay. All right, the Eight of Pentacles is connected to the Sun. The Eight of Pentacles connected to the Sun. You will flip the table of emotional connections and emotional fulfillment and the idea of emotional connectedness and fulfillment, right? Contentment, in order to put out the flames of the fire that has built up around you in regards to trying to get to that. Like, you will throw it all, you will uproot this 10 of cups. So imagine 10 cups full of like wet water on a table, and you've worked hard, right? You've worked hard. You've got the 7 of Pentacles here, and you're trying to get to the 8 of Pentacles, because at some point you're like, oh, the 8 of Pentacles means results, means I'm getting somewhere. But something happens here. Something happens here where you're just like, I'm going to flip the table here. I'm going to impulsively flip this table, whether that impulse is good or bad, whatever. But you deem it worth it to flip a table and say, I'm done. I'm finished with this. I'm putting out, I'm flooding out, putting out the fire. I'm willing to uproot my entire life because I'm not seeing results. And that's exactly what happens here. This full energy, this leap of faith, a fresh start. Uranus, the planet Uranus is connected with the Fool, and Uranus is all about change. It's all about quick change. It's all about change that you might not be ready for, right? But it's the whip. It's the energy of the whip, the consciousness, being struck by a bolt of lightning, like just being hit with an understanding, like, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. This is not going in the direction that I want it to go. I've hit this wall time and time again, blah, 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 blah. This is not going where I want it to go. And here's the thing. There's a difference. There's something here where this whip and this tower, this is basically the journey of consciousness, of waking up, of understanding what's been going on, and deciding, I will tear this bitch down, right? Like, I'm sorry for my language, but I'm just like, the expression here and the visual here is someone saying, I will burn this MF to the ground because it is just so wrong, and it is just so like, I'm done. Like, this is a level of I'm doneness that is just like, I'm completely done. And of course, we're still in that, coming back to our full moon in Aries. This is a fiery climax. Fiery. And how fitting that you come out as the lightning bolt, the fire. And it could be you, it could be a situation. Are you ready to knock something completely down, to flip all the tables? And I think, if you are Christian and you arrived here, it's the analogy of Jesus, wrecking shop in the temple when he found out there were so many vendors and everything selling their wares in the temple. He went through and he flipped all the tables. He was like, what is this? What is this? This is ridiculous. It doesn't belong here, right? So, yeah. There's something here in your life where you are willing to upend it all in order to take a fresh start. Now, this is also the promise of, because this is the sign of Aries that we're dealing with this full moon. And Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, if you weren't aware. And we've got the Fool card here too. This is a fresh start. This is a new beginning. This is something completely you know, this just feels like Aries, right? This just feels like Aries energy, starting the journey of the tarot over again. We started the Fool, we started 0. We have a complete clean slate here. Okay, where are we on time? Gosh, 41 minutes. You know what? I'm just going to leave this as is. I'm not going to leave with any guidance because I want you all to come up with your own guidance for yourselves. But I hope this has been a useful reading for you. I will see you soon for, I think I'll just do a random reading, a general energy update. Okay, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.